Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Niche Story. This board features Niche's multi-camber, which is reverse camber between the feet and camber underfoot. This is going to give you independent camber zones to load up to get all the pop, snap, and drive, but it's also going to give you ease of entry in and out of the turns due to being able to torsionally twist it more, and it makes it a little bit easier to butter as well as ride powder. This board is available in 156, 159, 162, and 165. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a Graybird day with high visibility. You had fog at times, low winds, you had chop, chunder, ice. Basically, it would have been a good day if I was on the East Coast and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in at just past a middle of the road all mountain free ride. So what you do get is a slightly softer nose that progressively stiffens back up to the tail with a key hinged flex point right at the dead center where that reverse camber is. The torsional flex is there and it is noticeable. When it comes to stability on this board, there's a dampness that's still lively in it, which is nice because it helps dissipate any kinetic energy from the nose when you're charging. So any chatter you get is just gone by the time it hits the front foot. And realistically, with those camber sections underfoot, that's the most stable section. That center reverse creates a hinge point, and the only time you really feel that is if you're a little more back foot dominant and you slam into some frozen undulated snow, just like a mogul, a death bump, just something that you didn't see. When you hammer it, that's when you're going to feel it. Otherwise, this board is very smooth. With the independent camber zones under each foot, it changes the dynamic of how you load this board up. It's very back foot dominant for how you're going to get your pop. So you load up that rear camber section and you roll back, and then you notice that it springs right off that rear contact point by the tail kick. Now, it's not the snappiest board out there, but it does get the job done. It's not one of these boards where you're like going to load up and be able to pop to the moon, but you can be a little more laid back with your load and still get solid spring with it. So when it comes to buttering, you've got this flex point in the dead center, which really lets you be lazy. You can lean back on the tail or roll forward on the nose and just keep your weight kind of centered over those inserts. And basically, as you roll, this flex point takes over. So, suddenly you're up on the nose. It's a nose butter. You roll back on the tail. It locks in and you're in a tail butter. And then the camber zones kind of take over and give you a little bit spring out of it. Basically, it's a lazy man's butter stick. This camber profile has always been that way. You will notice that when you do get sideways, it can get a little hooky just due to the side cut and everything in there. Be aware of that, but if you know how to butter, you shouldn't have a problem with it. It does hold fairly well outside those camber sections, so you can really put your weight into it, and then, like I said, you'll get a little bit of spring out of it. So this board has Niche's take on magnet traction, where it's more aggressive between the feet and then a little more mellow out in the tip and the tail. It does have a quick power transmission from edge to edge with a lot of force. So when you get it on edge, you feel it grip and it rips. Now, with it being more aggressive with its contact points between the feet, some people may feel this being a little more hooky just due to the camber profile and everything. I say detune as needed, but overall you need to know that it initiates its turn under the front foot, but it completely drives from inside the rear foot. So you can really just center flex that board and get all your power out of the tail to lay it over. The front will disengage completely. So when you do lay it over, just be aware that you're not contacting the full edge. Now, short, tight, quick turns, medium, mellow carves, and even hard, drawn out carves are all solid on this board. It really does grip, and like I said, there's a lot of power when you're transitioning from edge to edge with it. Who's this board for? The all-mountain freeride guy. There's a level of dampness with this board that doesn't sacrifice the liveliness, and that really sticks out as the main characteristic of this board that I took notice of. Now, the magnet traction on this isn't going to be for everyone, and it may take you a few laps to kind of figure out how it engages and disengages, because it is more aggressive between the feet and more mellow out in the tip and the tail. Overall, this is a really solid board for what it is, and when you're on edge, you notice that you can just cut through everything in your path and not really have to worry about it. Is it going to be a board for everyone? No. And you kind of have to understand that when you're looking at it. But for the rider that's looking for something like this, I think they're going to be totally happy with it. Comparable boards: the Jones Flagship, the Libtech Rassman, the K2 Manifest. Binding recommendations: the Rome Katana, the Jones Mercury, the Bent Metal Transfer. This has been my review of the Niche Story. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.